Oh, okay. One would be the meter, another would be that something about the meaning doesn't fit.
Mm-hmm. So, and it could sometimes be the form. So whether the grammatical form is good or not.
Oh, yes. Okay.
So in this case, three things should be considered. Number one is the meaning. Sometimes, okay, it is a correct form, no problem. The word itself is correct, but maybe the meaning is not good or not the best, not what we want here. So number two could be the form. The form itself is wrong, for instance. And number three is the meter. So three possibilities, right? And
Yes.
sometimes it could be the Santi, but usually this is not a big deal, right? So Santi sometimes could also be improved when we make our own critical edition, right? So in this case, so two things are kind of combined together. So which two? So which two? Sorry, usually this Santi problem, when it is in a verse, it inevitably is connected to the meter sometimes. So in this case, if we don't have the he here, what do we read?
Shabdena atra. So
Mhm.
Shabdena atra.
So shabdenadra, right?
Yes.
Shabdenadra. Exactly. So in this case, if there's no he, then the two syllables become one because of the
Yes.
santi, right? Without this H, we have to join these two together to form a long R.
Yes.
That is exactly what is written in the manuscript. As we can see the transcription by Yonezawa. So I sent you this Tibetan commentary and this transliteration of this manuscript. So actually, this is exactly the same one which Johnston was using for this manuscript for this edition. So there you can see clearly it is Shabdenadra Sada, right? So in
Okay.
such a case, we have one syllable missing in this line, right? So we have only Shabdenadra. Mm, yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mm, so it becomes rather tricky. Mm, if we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Mm, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. So then that there will be one syllable less. Mm, mm. So that is a magical problem if we have one syllable less. That is for one thing. And for another thing, if we have a strong evidence that shows
Hmm?
that there is a correct, I mean, there is a better reading. So in this case, he said that this verse is repeated before the 25th verse. So the 25th verse is, let's have a look. It is on page 124. Do you see that one? 124. Yeah. And it's on PDF page 15. Indeed, somehow this verse is repeated there, which has the he. Shabdena hi adra sada bhavishyado varnam tasyedi. So yeah, indeed, there's also this one. And
Okay.
yeah, so this is a clear evidence that that reading was not good, and instead we should read the he. So that is another thing. And yeah, there is another evidence which he did not mention, but we will see in the prose, because as you know that this is a kind of auto commentary. That means the prose is supposed to be commenting on the verse. So if we find something which confirms that he, this is a further evidence which Johnston did not mention. And indeed, we see it here. You see this sada hi adra shabdena pavishyadaha shabdasya pradishetaha kriyate. So in view of this sentence, as I already told you, this is supposed to be commenting on this part of the verse. So what do you think about this dasya in view of that sentence? You have a clue?
Could you explain that again? In view of which sentence?
In view of this sentence in the prose, sada hi adra shabdena bhavishyatah shabdasya pradishetah kliyate. I
Okay.
said that this he actually confirms the emendation that Johnston made in the verse. So this he is that he. Then this sentence is a paraphrase of the second line of the verse. So what do you think?
So then it's tasya shabdasya tasya bhavishyatah
Mm-hmm.
bhavishyatah shabdasya. So of a future, um, if you take it as word, it is of a future word, and if you take it as sound, of a future sound.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And as you see, this pradishita is a synonym of varnam.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. So that's right. Yeah. Good. So now you've solved the problem. We have this dasya, I mean the referent of the dasya, pavishyadaha dasya, as the shabda. Mm-hmm. So we basically complete the meaning, and I suggest that we first read on, and then we can go back to this problem we have still in the beginning of the verse.
Can you please give
Mm.
one more translation of this verse?
Yes, but I'm going to leave this first part untranslated because we want to solve the problem with the help of the commentary. So I just read that part. So so if no, sorry, not if. So this might be your idea. Edat siat debutihi, I'm translating, and then you have something like quotation, open quotation marks. Ma shabdavat. Naja edat ubanam. And this is not appropriate, or this is not valid, or this does not make sense. For he, in this case, atra, the refutation or the stopping of the future shabda. We add shabda in this case, which is a referent of dasya. There would be, we have to add, there would be the refutation of a future sound by this real sound or speech. So we leave it open at the moment because we have to solve this problem together with the first part of this verse. Is this clear?
Yes.
Okay, then we can go on. Who would like to read?
I might try.
Yes, please.
So, Syate buddhi yatha nama kaschid bruyanma shabdam karshiriti swayameva shabdam kuryatena cha shabdena tasya shabdasya vyavartanam kriyeta evam eva shunyah sarvabhava iti shunyena vachanena sarvabhava svabhavasya vyavartanam kriyata iti.
So how many sentences do you read in this part?
5.
Which 5?
So, like Syate buddhi is 1. Then we have yeah, I have a problem of translating karshishi.
So this one you don't have, but I just first you have to understand what this structure is. I mean, you don't have to understand each and every word, but yeah, what is the structure? I mean,
then we have like should say like bruyat. So that would be another sentence. Like one should say, one speaks. And then it ends with iti. So like from yatha to karshihi, it will be one sentence included in iti.
Sorry, from yatha till?
From yatha till karshihi.
Oh, that ed, I see. And then?
And then we have kuryat. So yes, and so we have then swayameva shabdam kuryat. So that would be the third one. And tena cha shabdena tasya vyavartanam kriyate or kriya ita. No, but we are given it as a amendation, so it should not be kriya ita, but suggested to be kriyate.
Sorry, which one are you talking? Glieda. So you think this glieda is not correct?
We have
so
a note. We have a note.
You're talking about this number 5, right?
Yes.
So that suggests indeed it is an emendation.
Yes.
So you don't agree with the emendation, in other words, right?
No, I agree.
You agree with the emendation. So you think glieda is correct?
No, I say kriyate is correct, I think.
Gliade, then you don't agree with the emendation, in other words.
Yeah, the one which is made, I don't kriya ita.
So you want to follow this manuscript reading. So
yes.
is marked there to indicate that this manuscript reads gliade.
Yes.
Instead of glieda. And why?
No,
Why?
because it makes more sense to me.
Why? I mean, you think this grieta is not correct, or it is correct, but this is not the form that you want? What
Yeah,
is your
that's not the form I want.
uh-huh. So why? Why is not the form that you want, that you don't want?
Because I don't know what it. Yeah,
Oh,
so we have like
okay.
it's a Sunday. We have Kriya Ita,
Mhm.
and then it doesn't make much sense to me.
So what form is it? Glieta.
So
George.
we have it's like two words. Kriya Ita. I see it like this.
Ah, gliaida. Okay, what does it
Kriya
mean
Ita.
exactly? What did it mean?
And I don't know what it means.
I
Therefore,
see.
therefore, Kriyate makes sense more to me than
Oh,
creator.
okay, gliade is which form?
Um, is short person singular present.
Mhm.
So of Kri.
Is it active or is it passive?
Um, passive karmani.
That's right. So the active form, present third person singular, is garodi, right?
Yes.
Garodi and then griede is the passive.
Yes.
How about grieda? So grieda, you have no idea, but I mean, if it's a verb form, if it's not two words, but it's a verb form, what could it be?
Uh,
No idea.
no.
Okay. Anyway, so you can go on. I will come back to this question later.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
then we have Eva Meva Shunyaha.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's still the end. That is another sentence.
Mm.
So in that case, we would have 5.
Yeah, this is a tricky question. So I think it's basically certain that you can take siate butihi as one sentence. I mean, it of course it is a matter of taste whether you want to put a period or you want to put a dash or whatever. Anyway, we understand indeed this is grammatically speaking, there is the subject and there is the verb. So we can consider this as a complete sentence. So that part we have no problem. But whenever you see yata sentence, you have to understand that this by itself cannot be a complete sentence. It has to be picked up by something else. So what could it be
Oh,
usually?
I found actually creator could be an optative, passive,
That's
karmani
right.
optative,
Mm-hmm.
third
Yes.
person singular.
Yes, that's correct. Yeah, you're right. So that part, I think we've already solved the problem. But I'm just asking this yata. Usually, it should be picked up by something to form a complete sentence.
Yeah, but then we have eva meva.
That's right. So evam eva is picking up the yata. It's basically the same as the ta. So you know
Yeah.
this kind of structure, yata something something, the ta something something. And here we don't have a the ta, instead we have evam eva, which is basically the same. And for that, we kind of regard yata, the ta, or yata evam eva, this one as a big sentence. But the tricky thing here is that within this big sentence, we have some small sentences, and some of these are not kind of smoothly connected. So this is the main problem of this part. I mean, within these 4 lines, we have some syntactical problem. So first of all, do you understand what this long sentence is doing here?
Uh, in what sense do you mean?
So as I said, this
It comments on the,
yeah.
so it elaborates on the verse.
The prose is supposed to be an auto commentary on the verse. So usually it is either a paragraph, sorry, a paraphrase or a kind of explanation or expansion to the verse. So in this case, which part does the prose correspond to in the verse? One thing should be easy, right?
To the fourth part.
Yes. So Syade Butihi is basically the same. Syade Butihi. And by the way, this again is an emendation. You see the footnote number 2, T omits the phrase, but C has it. So you see that one? Number 2, footnote number 2, T omits the phrase, but C has it. And if you look at the, oh no, sorry, it is not the emendation, I'm sorry. So this is not the emendation, it is written in the manuscript. But Johnston just kind of pointed out that in the Tibetan translation, there isn't this phrase. And that is true. So if you look at Yonesava 225, this paragraph, Pelna, you don't see indeed anything corresponding to the Syat de Butihi, but that's okay. Yeah, I think we can keep it, the Syat de Butihi. And what is Yatha?
With reference to the verse, you mean?
What is the Yatha? Sorry, in this case.
Maybe this ma Shabdavat.
More precisely, yeah, it is kind of there. Of course, there's not much in the verse, so it's easy to say that. But what exactly is this Yatha doing? More precisely.
Not sure.
Any idea? I mean, other people apart from George? Does anyone have an idea about this Yatha?
So you're asking for something other than just the translation of the yatha. That's what you.
Yeah, as I said, this commentary, this auto commentary is, I mean, the prose part is supposed to be an explanation or comment on the verse. And we would like to pin down what this yatha is doing exactly.
Okay, so it's taking that part of the ma shabdavat thing. So it's saying that it's explaining that ma shabdavat iti etat syate buddhi. So it's saying that
Actually, the answer is simple but tricky. Yatha is paraphrasing what in the verse. That is the exact function of the yatha. So remember, we have two different, actually, I mean, with the same form word, but actually these are different datida suffixes. So both are datida suffix, either in the as a declinable, I mean to form a word that is declinable, or to form a word that is indeclinable. So remember, when it is indeclinable, prescribed in Panini Sutra 5.1.115, it says, Dena duryam griya jet vatihi. So in that case, it indicates that something behaves in the same way. behaves in the same way. So that is what yatha is doing. So yatha is in the way that, right? I mean, when we translate it into English, it is in the way that. Usually it's in the way that something behaves something, right? So now I give you the hint that this yatha is glossing or is explaining the suffix what? Then. You have another further thought?
Me or
And anyone, I mean, I'm just asking this question. If what is glossed or is explained as yatha, then you have some idea about this ma shabda in view of the sentence after, in view of the sentence beginning with yatha. So yatha nama kashtit purman ma shabdam karshihi. So this part, George, would you like to translate? Only up till here, before this E.
I'm not sure what karshehi mean because
So which form is it again? Which form is it?
I could assume that it is something Dvitiya Bahuvachana Strilinga.
Bahuvajana Strilinga? So you are assuming that it, okay, first of all, is it a verb or is it a noun?
Noun.
No, that's not correct.
No.
So what else can you think of? Or somebody else, if you know, Karshihi? No idea? So, I give you a hint. So this ma is usually used with what form in a sentence? So ma put, what kind of form is it?
Injunctive.
Or list. So ma put, this is an or list. And what form, I mean, like a put, right? Ma, a put, but when it is, we already explained this last time, when it is used with ma in such a sentence, we drop this up. So it becomes ma, a put. And this one is something very similar. So the original form should be agarshihi, agarshihi. So what form is it?
So injunctive. So
Or list. So again, it is on the or list. It's the same form as a put in the sentence ma put. And which person?
Second person
Singular. Yes,
singular.
second person singular. So in this case, how should we understand? So ma shabdam garshihi.
Don't do. Like
yes, don't make the sound. Please do not make any sound.
Don't make any shabdam.
Exactly. Yeah. So don't make any sound. And that is within this quotation. So this ed is kind of quoting a direct speech, right? It's quoting a direct speech. And who says it?
Nagarjuna.
No. The subject is in this sentence, is in this paragraph. So kashti bruyat. So bruyat, what form is it?
Third person singular.
Of which one?
Of brew.
And which form exactly? It is not the
Optative.
indicative, right? It is,
Optative.
yes, it is optative. So how do we translate
So
it?
one should not say, one should not speak, or one doesn't say, doesn't speak, will not, and so on.
George, I think you are kind of mixing the structure together. As we already said, is ma shabdam garshihi. So this is the thing within the speech, ed. Therefore, we do not have another negation for buriyat. So someone might say, or not might not say.
Did I say not?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, that
Yeah.
was
So,
no,
right.
I didn't mean not. It's just
Okay.
one should say, one says, one will
One might
say,
say. I think in this case, not one should say, one, but one might say.
might say.
So
Yeah.
this is a possibility. This optative in the sense that there is a possibility. So one might say, open quotation mark, you don't make any sound, right? The second person singular, so you don't make any sound. That is the end of the quotation. And how do we relate this to the first part of the verse? How do we relate?
So it explains this ma shabdavat.
Yeah, once again, we have to go back. Yeah, we have to go back to this ma shabdavat. So ma shabdavat, how do we translate it literally?
So don't be noisy.
Then you are taking it as an adjective.
Yes.
But there's one problem. If we take it as an adjective, you're talking to somebody, right? Somebody. So you should not be someone with sound or with words, right? Then we have a problem. We need usually a masculine to refer to a person. So in that case, it is ma shabda one.
Shabda one, yes.
Right? It is not ma shabda what. Right? So that is the problem. The problem is if we take it in the sense that don't be a person. So we are taking this in the Maduba meaning. So dad asyasti, right? So do not be someone shabdaha asya asti. So don't be someone who has words, who also don't be someone who has sound. And we have to add a put in this case, right? So this is the first possibility. But I tell you, this is not working because the form is wrong. The form is wrong. Then what do you think?
If you ask me, then I'm not sure.
So you don't know. Then we can rule out the possibility.
Then it should not be an adjective.
Right. If it's not an adjective, then what? And I mean, this is already clear, actually, by the fact that I point out this yata is glossing the word. If the yata is glossing the word, then it has to be used in the second meaning, right? So dena duriam griya jet. So in that sense, it has to be an adverb, right? Because I said these two cannot be mixed up. So you can't say that it's used as an adjective, but used in the sense that acting or behaving like somebody or something. And it cannot be used as an adverb, but used in the sense of somebody or something which has something. That doesn't work. So it has to be an adjective, an adverb, once again, used in the sense of behaving like something. Like what? Yatha.
Behaving like
This somebody who says, Ma shabdam garshihi. This is the person. And who is behaving like this person? Who is behaving like this person?
the opponent.
Opponent.
No.
Who is behaving? Thinking about how this part
maybe it's Nagarjuna who
right.
says
So
it.
who is saying this? Don't behave like that.
Nagarjuna.
Yeah. So Nagarjuna is saying to somebody in the way that Kashtit, somebody is saying Ma Shabdam Karshihi. Right? So who is saying that Nagarjuna might behave like that or might have this idea? The opponent, right? It's a bit tricky. Yeah. Yeah. So, but you understand that the whole thing, I mean, so far we read are all actually mainly spoken by the opponent. Sometimes the opponent presents what Nagarjuna may say. So in this case, they refers to Nagarjuna, right? So you might have this idea. This is edat syat debutihi. So you might have this idea, open quotation mark, and then ma shabdavat. Ma shabdavat. So in this case, the tricky thing is that shabda is not the shabda in this sentence, in this prose. Ma shabda garshihi is not that one. The shabda here in the verse is not the shabda in this prose. That is the problem. So this ma shabda, I suggest instead of reading as two words, we have to read it as one. So ma shabda what? As one sentence, very short, as one word, really short for Gashtit Burman ma shabda garashihi. So somebody might say, you do not make sound. You please do not make sound, or please do not make noise, something like that. And that is shortened as ma shabd. Ma shabd. So this ma is that ma in this ma shabda garshihi. But this shabda is not that shabda. So why? Because the shabda here is used in the literal sense. The word shabda, ma shabda, the word shabda. The word shabda, the word ma is short for this whole sentence. Kashchit puryan ma shabdam karshihi. So it's short for that one. So that one means somebody might say, do not. So do not make sound. You do not make any sound. So this is what is in the opponent, Nagarjuna's opponent's mind. So he is assuming that Nagarjuna might behave or might think in the same way as somebody who says, Ma shabdam varshihi. So why it's like this? Because first, I mean, in the previous sentence, you remember we have this short goti. So short goti go vadaha. You remember that sentence? That is in 109. So these 6 problems or 6-fold argumentation presented by the opponent of Nagarjuna, we're not going to repeat the whole thing, but the main idea is, you remember we have a kind of expression of Vishama something something, remember? Anyway, so it is the kind of Vaishamigadva prasangaha. So that is in this paragraph before the verse 3. Before verse 3, we have that sentence. So this is a kind of summing up. So all in all, Nagarjuna's problem is, in the opponent's view, this kind of incoherence. So incoherency between his own speech, which says all phenomena are empty, and the content of the statement. So his words has to be part of this statement. So either way, either his own word, Nagarjuna's own word, is empty. That means it is invalid. That means it cannot refute anything. Or it has to be part of this phenomena. It has to be often, it has to be included in all phenomena. However, it is not shunya. It is not empty. In other words, it serves as a counterexample of his own view that all phenomena are empty. So anyway, there is this kind of incoherence, right? Incoherence, inconsistency. So then the opponent imagines that Nagarjuna might fall to another solution. That is the solution we are talking about. That is the solution we are talking about. And this solution is shortened in the verse as Ma Shabdavad. Ma Shabdavad. And it is expanded in the prose, in the commentary, as Yatha Magashtit Puriyan Ma Shabdam Karashihiti. And then the opponent will further refute this idea. In this verse, it is simply said as Naja edat ubapanam. But in the prose, in this auto commentary, it's expanded. And we will see how it is expanded. Okay, about this, I wanted to draw your attention also to the Tibetan translation and the Chinese translation of the first part of the verse to see whether my interpretation of this is reasonable or not. You can, yeah, I can leave it to yourself, but first we can read a little bit. Who would like to read the Tibetan translation of the verse? Today Pema is not here, but if somebody wants to try, it is Yonezawa page number 225, PDF page 17.
Just a moment. I may.
No problem. Yes. No problem.
Just have to open.
So PDF page 17.
17.
Verse number 3.
17. Okay. Dedrama jinta buje kelo semna demita te dila drani yopa yi chungvar gur wa de lo yin. login. Yeah.
Okay, yes. So you see, Deja Martin Dawe J. That's the first part. How do we relate to this? So Deja. So Deja is Shabda. So this word, de is kind of added. So this particular word, ja is translation for Shabda in the sense of word. So this word, and then ma